Why is letting go so transformative? It's not about forgetting the past or denying the pain. It's about reclaiming your freedom from the grip of what you can't change. Regrets, unresolved emotions, and lingering wounds are like a heavy backpack. You carry them everywhere, each step harder than the last, keeping you stuck when life is urging you forward. When you hold on to the past, it shapes how you see yourself and the possibilities in your life. Maybe it's a mistake you can't forgive, a loss you still grieve, or a dream that didn't turn out as planned. These experiences leave marks, but they don't have to define your future. Letting go isn't easy. It requires courage and trust in what lies ahead. But it's the first step toward living with intention and peace. In this video, you'll discover 3 steps to help you let go and rebuild your life. These aren't abstract ideas. They're actionable, powerful tools to help you release the grip of the past and step into a lighter, freer, and more fulfilling future. Stay with me, because today is the day to let go, find your strength, and step into a life that's truly yours. Letting go begins with a step that often feels the hardest, acknowledging and accepting the past. This isn't about dwelling on what's behind you or endlessly analyzing your mistakes. It's about facing the parts of your story that still weigh you down and finding the strength to set them down. We all carry moments that linger, some loud and painful, others quiet but persistent. They shape the way we see ourselves and the choices we make every day. Acknowledgement is the key to breaking free from their grip. It can be uncomfortable to reflect on the past. Many of us would rather avoid the memories that cause us pain or shame, hoping they'll fade on their own. But the past rarely disappears when ignored. Instead, it hides in subtle ways. You might feel it in your hesitations, your fears, or the self-doubt that whispers when you think about taking a new step forward. Avoidance doesn't lighten the load. It only makes it harder to understand why it's there. Facing the past allows you to see it clearly for what it is, a chapter that has already been written, not one that defines your future. To begin acknowledging the past, take a moment to reflect on what keeps resurfacing in your life. Perhaps it's a decision you regret, a moment of loss, or even an opportunity you missed. These aren't things to judge yourself for. They are simply parts of your story that still call for your attention. Writing about them can be a powerful way to explore these feelings. Sit with a notebook and allow yourself to write freely. Don't worry about grammar or structure. Simply let the thoughts flow. The act of putting your experiences into words can help bring clarity, turning a confusing tangle of emotions into something you can begin to understand. Acceptance follows acknowledgement. Once you've brought the past into the light, the next step is to make peace with it. Acceptance doesn't mean agreeing with what happened or pretending it didn't hurt. It means letting go of the struggle to change something that cannot be changed. It's recognizing that these moments, painful as they may be, are part of the path that brought you here. They are part of who you are, but they don't have to dictate who you will become. This can be a difficult mindset to embrace, especially when the past feels unresolved. It's natural to want closure or answers, to feel as though you need something more before you can move on. But true acceptance doesn't rely on external factors. It comes from within, a quiet decision to release the grip that these memories have on your life. It's not a single moment of realization, but an ongoing practice. Each time you feel the weight of the past pulling at you, remind yourself that you have the power to let it rest. As you move through this process, you may find it helpful to reframe how you view the past. Instead of seeing it as a source of pain or regret, try to look for the lessons it has taught you. Every experience, no matter how difficult, holds the potential for growth. Maybe a failure taught you resilience. Perhaps a loss showed you the depth of your own strength. Even the most challenging moments can leave behind gifts if you're willing to look for them. Self-compassion is an essential part of this step. Too often, we are our own harshest critics, replaying our mistakes with a judgment that we would never direct toward anyone else. But healing requires kindness, not criticism. Imagine speaking to yourself the way you would to a dear friend who is struggling. You wouldn't berate them or remind them of their flaws. You would offer understanding and encouragement, helping them see their worth beyond the mistakes they've made. You deserve the same grace. It's important to recognize that this process won't happen overnight. Acknowledging and accepting the past isn't something you can check off a list and move on from. It's a journey, one that requires patience and persistence. There may be days when the memories feel fresh again, when it seems like the weight you've been working to release has crept back into your life. That's okay. Healing isn't linear, and setbacks don't erase progress. Each step you take, no matter how small, is a step forward. As you continue to reflect on the past, try to stay present with your emotions. It's tempting to push them away or distract yourself when they feel overwhelming, but avoidance only delays the healing process. Instead, allow yourself to feel what comes up, knowing that emotions are temporary. They rise and fall like waves, and by sitting with them, you give yourself the chance to let them pass. Acceptance doesn't mean you'll never think about the past again. There may always be moments that bring it to mind, but over time, these memories will lose their power to control you. They will become just that, memories, not anchors. With each passing day, the weight will grow lighter, and the space they once occupied will open up to new possibilities. The first step, acknowledging and accepting the past, is the foundation for everything that follows. It's what allows you to begin letting go, to stop fighting against what was and start focusing on what is. As you take this step, you're not erasing the past, you're transforming your relationship with it, and in doing so, you're creating the freedom to build a life that feels lighter, clearer, and more aligned with who you truly are. Releasing what you can't control is an act of liberation. It's a choice to stop fighting battles you were never meant to win, a chance to reclaim the energy spent on things that refuse to bend to your will. And yet, it's one of the hardest steps to take. Our minds often cling to the hope of change, as if replaying old scenarios or holding tightly to resentment might somehow rewrite the past. But deep down, we know the truth. No amount of effort can undo what's already happened. Letting go isn't about defeat. It's about finding peace. Think about your own life. How many moments do you revisit, wishing they had unfolded differently? Maybe it's the way an argument spiraled out of control, or the opportunities you didn't take because fear held you back. Or perhaps it's not even a single event, but an ongoing struggle, trying to control the opinions of others, their reactions, or even their love. We hold these desires close, as if clinging harder might make them real. But the tighter we hold on, the more tangled and painful they become. Letting go of control requires a willingness to face these feelings head-on. It means acknowledging what is truly beyond your power. Imagine holding a rope in a tug-of-war with something immovable. The harder you pull, the more your hands burn, yet the rope doesn't move. At some point you have to decide, is the pain of holding on worth it? When you release the rope, you don't lose. You free yourself from the fight. This is a deeply personal process, and it begins with self-reflection. Take a moment to ask yourself, what am I holding on to that I can't change? It might be a person who didn't treat you the way you deserved, an outcome that didn't align with your hopes or even your own mistakes. Whatever it is, let yourself sit with it. There's no need to judge or rush. Just let it come to the surface. Sometimes these feelings have been buried for so long that bringing them into the light can feel overwhelming. That's okay. Healing starts with honesty. Forgiveness often plays a central role in this step, not just forgiving others, but forgiving yourself. Maybe you're holding on to resentment towards someone who hurt you, convinced that letting it go would mean excusing their behavior. But forgiveness isn't about them. It's about freeing yourself. Holding on to anger or bitterness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to feel its effects. Letting go of these emotions doesn't mean forgetting or pretending it didn't happen. It means choosing your own peace over the weight of the past. Self-forgiveness can be even harder. We are often our own harshest critics, replaying our mistakes with relentless judgment. Perhaps there are words you wish you could take back or actions you regret deeply. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing you deserve to carry that burden. But forgiveness is an act of compassion, and you are just as worthy of it as anyone else. Speak to yourself with kindness. Remind yourself that mistakes are a part of being human, and they don't define your worth. Visualizations can be a powerful tool to help with this process. Picture the thing you're holding on to, a memory, a regret, or even a person, and imagine placing it in a box. Seal the box, and in your mind's eye, set it down gently. You're not throwing it away or pretending it never existed. You're simply choosing not to carry it anymore. This act of visualization can bring a surprising sense of relief, as if a weight has been lifted from your shoulders. Each time those feelings resurface, you can return to this practice, reminding yourself that you've already set them down. There's a kind of fear that often accompanies letting go. It whispers questions like, who will I be without this? What if I forget? What if I lose control? These fears are normal. They arise because letting go means stepping into the unknown, and the unknown can feel unsettling. But this fear is also a sign of growth. It means you're breaking free from old patterns, creating space for something new. Part of releasing control is learning to set boundaries, not just with others, but with yourself. Recognize when you're pouring energy into things you can't change. It's okay to care deeply, but caring doesn't mean carrying the weight of the world. Ask yourself, is this mine to hold? If the answer is no, allow yourself to set it down. Boundaries are not barriers. They are acts of self-respect that allow you to protect your peace. As you practice letting go, remember that it's not a one-time decision. You might find yourself slipping back into old habits, replaying the same thoughts or feelings. That's okay. Healing isn't linear, and progress doesn't mean perfection. Each time you notice yourself holding on again, gently remind yourself of the freedom that comes with release. Letting go is a skill, and like any skill, it takes time to master. There's a quiet freedom that comes with this step. It's the moment you realize you don't have to control everything to feel whole. Picture standing by a river, watching the water flow around the rocks. The current moves effortlessly, not because it forces its way, but because it lets itself be carried. You are the same. You don't have to fight against what you cannot change. You can let it flow past you, trusting that the world will carry you forward. Releasing what you can't control is about making space. Space for new experiences, new growth, and new possibilities. When you stop pouring your energy into what's beyond your reach, you reclaim that energy for yourself. You begin to notice the things you can change, your choices, your mindset, your path forward. These are the things that matter most, and they become clearer when you're no longer weighed down by the rest. This is your moment to let go, to stop clinging to what was and open yourself to what could be. Stay with me, because next, we'll take that newfound freedom and use it to create a vision for the life you truly want. Once you've acknowledged the past and released what you can't control, you're left with something precious. Space. Space to breathe, to dream, and to imagine what your life could look like if you stepped into it with intention. Building a vision for the future is about filling that space with purpose, hope, and a sense of possibility. It's not just about setting goals, it's about creating a life that feels aligned with who you are at your core. Close your eyes for a moment and picture the life you want to live. Not the life you think you're supposed to have, or the one that seems achievable, but the one that truly excites you. What does it look like? What does it feel like? Perhaps it's waking up with a deep sense of peace, knowing that your days are filled with meaning. Or maybe it's the thrill of pursuing something you've always dreamed of, but never dared to try. Hold on to that vision. It's the compass that will guide you as you move forward. This step begins with permission. Permission to dream, to want, and to hope, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. For so many of us, dreaming big feels risky, especially if we've experienced failure or disappointment in the past. We tell ourselves to be practical, to keep our expectations in check, to avoid getting hurt. But the truth is, your vision doesn't need to make sense to anyone else. It doesn't even need to feel realistic right now. It only needs to resonate with you. Give yourself the freedom to imagine a future that feels expansive and exciting, without limits or constraints. Start by exploring what truly matters to you. Think about the moments in your life when you felt the most alive, the most connected to yourself and the world around you. What were you doing? Who were you with? What values were at play? These moments hold clues to the kind of life that aligns with your deepest self. Write them down if it helps. Reflect on what they reveal about your passions, your purpose, and your vision for the future. Once you've allowed yourself to dream, the next step is to bring those dreams into focus. A vision without action remains just a fantasy, so ask yourself, what small step can I take today to move closer to the life I want? It doesn't have to be monumental. Sometimes the most transformative changes begin with the simplest actions. Maybe it's reaching out to someone who inspires you, signing up for a class, or dedicating 10 minutes a day to something you're passionate about. Each small step creates momentum, bringing your vision closer to reality. This process isn't just about what you want to achieve externally, it's also about who you want to become. Too often, we let past failures or the opinions of others define our self-image, limiting what we believe is possible. But you are constantly evolving, and your potential is far greater than the stories you've been telling yourself. Take a moment to consider, who do I want to be in this next chapter of my life? Let that question guide you as you shape your vision. Gratitude is a powerful tool in this process. It may seem counterintuitive to focus on gratitude while thinking about the future, but the two are deeply connected. Gratitude grounds you in the present, helping you see the abundance that already exists in your life. When you approach your vision with a mindset of gratitude, you're less likely to feel overwhelmed by what's missing and more empowered by what's possible. Start each day by acknowledging 3 things you're grateful for, no matter how small. This practice can shift your perspective, making it easier to dream boldly and act courageously. As you work toward your vision, it's natural to encounter doubt. There will be moments when the path ahead feels unclear, or when the progress you're making seems too slow. When doubt arises, remind yourself of the times in your life when you've overcome challenges you once thought were insurmountable. Use these memories as proof of your resilience and capability. You've already achieved so much, and there's no reason to believe you can't do it again. It's also important to celebrate the small victories along the way. Every step you take toward your vision, no matter how small, is worth acknowledging. Maybe you had the courage to try something new, or you followed through on a commitment to yourself. These moments are the building blocks of your future, and they deserve to be honored. The more you celebrate your progress, the more motivated you'll feel to keep going. This journey is yours and yours alone. It doesn't need to look like anyone else's, and it doesn't need to conform to societal expectations. Comparison can be a thief of joy, so resist the urge to measure your progress against someone else's. Trust that the vision you're building is exactly what it's meant to be, because it comes from within you. Your future doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to feel true. Think of this step as planting a garden. You've cleared the soil by letting go of the past, and now it's time to sow seeds for the future. Some seeds may take longer to grow than others, and not everyone will bloom as you expect. But with care, patience, and persistence, the garden will flourish. Every action you take is like tending to those seeds, nurturing the vision until it becomes your reality. There will be challenges along the way. The path to building a meaningful future is rarely straightforward, and setbacks are a natural part of the process. But each challenge is an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to strengthen your commitment to the life you're creating. Embrace these moments as part of the journey, knowing that they are shaping you into the person you are meant to be. Your vision is not just a destination, it's a living, breathing part of your daily life. It's present in the choices you make, the relationships you nurture, and the way you show up for yourself and others. By holding on to this vision and taking consistent, intentional steps, you're not just building a future, you're transforming the way you experience the present. Stay with me, because this is where everything you've worked toward comes together. You've acknowledged the past, released what you can't control, and now you're creating something entirely your own. This is your time to step fully into the life you've been waiting for, one intentional action at a time. As you've walked through these steps, something profound has started to shift within you. First, you face the past with courage and honesty, acknowledging the memories and emotions that have weighed you down for so long. Then, you released what you couldn't control, freeing yourself from the exhausting struggle to change the unchangeable. Finally, you took that hard-earned freedom and began to shape a vision for the future, one filled with intention, hope, and authenticity. Now, as you stand at this new threshold, the most important step is this: stay with the freedom you've created. Hold on to it, nurture it, and let it guide you as you move forward. Pause for a moment and reflect on how far you've come. What does it feel like to imagine yourself no longer bound by the heaviness of the past? Perhaps you've already noticed subtle changes, a sense of lightness in your heart, or a clarity in your thoughts that wasn't there before. This is the power of letting go. It doesn't erase what happened, but it allows you to move beyond it, creating space for something new to grow. This freedom isn't fleeting, it's a foundation, and with it, you can continue building the life you truly want. But freedom, like anything valuable, must be tended to. Letting go isn't a one-time act. It's a practice, something you'll revisit every time life throws new challenges your way. There will be moments when old memories resurface or doubt creeps back in. That's normal. Growth isn't a straight line, and healing isn't something you finish. The key is to remind yourself that you've already done the hard work of letting go, and you can do it again if you need to. You have the tools now, and that makes all the difference. As you move forward, life will inevitably test you. There will be setbacks, unexpected turns, and moments when you feel like you're slipping back into old patterns. But those moments don't erase your progress. Each time you face a challenge, remember the strength you've shown throughout this process. You've already proven to yourself that you're capable of confronting the past, releasing what doesn't serve you, and creating a new path. That strength is yours to carry with you. One of the most powerful ways to stay grounded in this freedom is to focus on the present. It's tempting to get caught up in what's next, future goals, uncertainties, or even the lingering shadow of old habits. But the real power lies in the small, intentional actions you take every day. The present is where growth happens. Whether it's practicing gratitude, setting boundaries, or simply taking a moment to breathe, These daily acts of presence are what will sustain you on this journey. And let's not forget to celebrate how far you've come. Too often, we move from one milestone to the next without pausing to acknowledge the effort it took to get here. Take a moment to honor the work you've done. Maybe it's journaling about the changes you've noticed in yourself or sharing your progress with someone who supports you. Whatever it looks like for you, celebrating your growth is a powerful reminder that you're moving in the right direction. Remember, the freedom you've created is yours. It doesn't need to look like anyone else's version of success or happiness. Let go of comparison and trust that your path is exactly as it should be. This is your life, your vision, and your unique journey. Embrace it fully, imperfections and all. As you step into this new chapter, think of your journey as planting seeds in a garden. You've cleared the soil by letting go of what no longer serves you, and now you're nurturing the seeds of your future. Not every seed will bloom immediately, and some may take longer than you expect. But with care, patience, and trust in the process, your garden will flourish. Each small action you take, each moment of presence, is like tending to those seeds, bringing your vision closer to reality. It's also important to recognize that you're not alone in this process. The act of letting go and moving forward is deeply human, something we all must navigate in our own way. Your story has the power to inspire others, to remind them that transformation is possible. By choosing to live authentically and intentionally, you're not just changing your own life. You're creating a ripple effect that can touch the lives of those around you. You've acknowledged the past, released what you can't control, and begun building a vision for the life you truly want. This is your moment to step fully into that vision, to live with purpose, and to hold on to the freedom you've worked so hard to create. Your story isn't over. It's unfolding every day, with every choice you make and every step you take. Let this be your reminder. You are strong, you are capable, and you are more than ready for what comes next. If this video resonated with you and helped you take even the smallest step forward, I invite you to become a part of this journey with me. Hit the subscribe button and join our growing community of people committed to growth, healing, and creating lives full of purpose. Together, we can support and inspire each other to keep moving forward. And if you found value here, consider giving a super thanks. It's a meaningful way to show your support and help me create more content like this for you. Let's keep building this space for connection, encouragement, and transformation. Thank you for being here, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.